Right out, you open up Blue Hill 2 after turning on the electronics to the instrument itself, not the computer, but the Instron, which is in the back.
Over there.
And also, does that front part come on automatically?
Yeah, this turns on automatically.
Okay.
Power button's on the back side.
Okay.
So you're going to want to click test.
And we click test.
And then the one that we want to choose is tear testing polymer laminate.im.
Tear testing polymer laminate. Okay.
Because there's multiple tear testing ones, but this is the one that we want to use.
Tear testing polymer laminate
.im. And it was created on 11/24, so you can look on the date.
11/24. Okay.
Now, if that changes, that means someone else went in and someone overrided it and saved it, so it might be completely different than what you saw before.
Now, is there a separate one for the glass polymer test peel
No.
and the polymer?
No, we just keep it the same because you're still measuring the same things.
All right.
And the rate is 1 millimeter per second.
Okay.
So unless you see that information change, that means someone else went in and changed it.
Now, it is possible, however, to change, for instance, the width, or is that supposed to stay at 1 inch or whatever?
You can change that.
You can change that.
Yep.
That just is there. Okay, so you would indicate that most likely just in the description of the sample, because it's still going to measure a force, but it's force per unit length or per unit width that we're interested in. Okay.
So now you got the file name. Obviously, write whatever file name you need. And if you're going to save it to a folder or a specific folder, you click Browse over here. And then obviously you can choose from the drop down.
Do we have a large folder for this particular project?
Well, under my last name, there's a folder called Armored One.
Okay.
So you click on Armored One, and then here's a whole bunch of my stuff there, and then the specific Armored One original stuff is in the folder that says Armored One material, and then create folders based on the type of glass you're trying to use.
All right.
So for the sake of doing this,
We
I'm just going to select
and we can change if we want.
Yep.
Okay.
Just be careful, because if you move files...
I won't move file, it'll just make a different file.
Yeah, because if you move one thing, the entire file will get corrupted, and then you lose all of your data.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so...
Is there a way to download this?
Onto a thumb drive? Yeah, you can just plug the thumb drive in. I have one I can show you.
And it is downloaded as PDF or as what?
You can literally go or you can just... Well, I can't do it now because we're in the program, but you can literally click on all of them and just copy and paste it, and it does all the work for you. So you'll get all of the data that we've ever done. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to click on the unknown one, make another folder that says blah. Just click on the folder, and then now you have a place to save it. So then you get the main screen here.
Okay.
And then you can change the width of the sample and the thickness of the sample here if you'd like. But when Jim told me, he just said, don't even bother doing it. It doesn't change the data at all.
Well, it will change.
Well, it just
if
shows
you have
up.
a thickness of if your polymer is changing, you need to know what the thickness of the polymer is.
Well, for this part here, though, it only shows, in the actual result file, it just shows how big it is. It doesn't actually do anything with the data.
Okay.
So that's how you get this. If you want to change what you see, you have to click on Method. And then obviously you can change what your specimen looks like. You can control how quickly it moves. So right now we have it at 1 millimeters per second. So you can change that depending on what you want to do. And then at the end of the test, you can change the way or what the data looks like. So you can change the rate of load threshold, a whole bunch of other stuff. And you don't need. calculations, this is where you can select what stuff you want to be shown in the data. So obviously, you got your absolute peak,
Yep.
area reduction, all that crap.
We can just look back at one of yours. So.
Yep. Yeah, so all this stuff is a default in the program, the tear testing file that we selected, so you don't have to go through any of this. So this is what the report looks like. You can't really see it that well, but that's what it's going to show up as. And then basically you just set up whatever you need, and then you just click start. Sometimes you have to hit it 2 or 3 times, but and before hitting start, make sure you hit reset gauge length and then balance the load. Because if you don't balance the load, it's going to start negative and your data is going to look all weird.
Now the gauge length, when you had it come down a certain length, right? It's very important that we not screw up the.
So for this one, the sample all the way on the left, you start right here.
Yeah.
So you're going to want this to be set at 106.
Okay, 106. And you set that manually or?
When you bring this down,
Okay.
actually this will look better if I do this. So right now it says that's the set spot. If you bring this down to 106, see how it shows it has the -33 extension?
Yeah.
If you just hit the reset gauge length, it's always going to go back to this spot.
Reset gauge length, okay.
Yep. So that's why you want to hit reset gauge length. So when you do multiple trials, you don't guess.
Where is the reset gauge length thing?
It's right here.
Oh, way up there. Okay, gotcha.
So make sure you click that when you do your first sample, because if you don't, you're going to lose exactly where your data starts. So then that's for this sample or line as well. And then for this line, when you start over here, it's down to 102,
Okay.
where the safety thing
All
is
right.
at.
Now, do we have to? Why don't we just use 106 in each case?
Oh, I was just testing it for the angle, because I know
so
we were
for
looking at
us,
the curve.
if we're going to do a number of samples, we might as well just use the same.
Yeah, just keep it at 106.
Okay. All right.
I was just trying to look at the curvature
Yeah,
to see
I got
if
you.
that angle is different, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Fine. And these are placed on with the little
These hold it down.
beads and the
Clamps.
see on there the little felt thing to protect the glass. Okay.
And don't,
Don't over tighten.
yeah, because if you over tighten all of it, it starts cracking and
Gotcha.
pieces break off.
Okay.
But if you place it on the polymer itself, nothing will crack. So if you put it on the glass part, it's definitely